Due to popular demand, we are giving you the keys to run the timetable file exam enrichment tool so that you don't need to make a meeting with us every time you want to run or rerun your exam solver. To begin with, you simply need to select your current timetable file. The first page is a settings page. Yell out if any of these don't make sense, but they're all relatively standard parameters. I want to talk just for a second about what these two buttons here are and do. You're going to see them on every page of this helper script. Save settings will actually download for you a file that will sit in your downloads folder, and it basically documents the settings that you have entered into this page. On a small page like this, it's not that much use, but you'll see in a couple of pages time where it can be incredibly valuable. And I will utilize this button on those pages. Import is the button you press if you want to bring back in settings from a previous run. I'm going to select year 11 and year 10 as the year levels that have exams. Now, when I go to select my subjects, this is one of those pages where it could be quite time consuming if you needed to do this multiple times. So I'm going to do it once. I'm going to select all the subjects that have exams. And in fact, I'll show you the trick immediately. If I scroll to the bottom and I say import subject settings, you can see in my downloads here that I have a subject settings file. This has automatically ticked the subjects that I told it in my first run will have exams. So what you'll need to do after you tick the subjects that have exams, you'll need to press Save Subject Settings, and you'll see here that it is downloading this subject settings file to my downloads folder. Just leave them in your downloads folder, and that way you can draw upon them when you need them. I'm going to press Next, and now it's asking me which subjects have a second exam. You can, of course, leave this blank if subjects don't have a second exam. I'm going to suggest that maybe Year 11 Spec methods and Year 10 methods all have a second exam. Next, subject joins. These are subjects that must be on at the same time. Let's pretend that Year 10 and 11 Italian are a combined class. If I scroll down here, I had to, oh, by the way, before I clicked these, I should let you know that in order to make two selections, you can click the first one, then you need to hold down Control if you want to click the second one. Now I press Add Join Constraint, and you can see it's thrown it down here. Year 11 Italian and Year 10 Italian must be joined. I can now go to the day constraints that are next. Now this is pertinent to the subjects that have two exams. You can use it for other applications as well, but the most common one would be this. If I type MAT into the filter here, I find my spec exam. Once again, I'm going to hold down Control before pressing the second spec exam. And up the top, it's telling me that I will have at least a minimum of one full clear days between the two spec exams. I'm going to add this separation constraint. I'm going to do the same for methods, holding down Control, and I'll do the same for Year 10 maths. You could do it for any subjects, but this is probably where it's most relevant. Now I'm going to create the tag list. The tag list is a very cool feature where we can, for example, say there's a Year 10 footy final and it's happening during the exam period. And so what I want to do is I want to select the football team if I've got that as a class in my timetable file. So I select the class code, I find the Year 10 football list, which is here, and I create the tag list, and it's telling me that 22 students have been added to this tag list. Something that'll be slightly more relevant in second semester might be something like this. Year 12 Psych will probably have Year 11 students in it. And so if I select the class code here and I find Year 12 Psych down the bottom of my file, and I hold down Control again, I can see there are 46 students in this. Not all of those will be Year 11s, of course, probably only a handful will. If I want to save that tag list there, that will export to my downloads folder. Next, we have on and off constraints. Some really common ones would be that we want the Year 10 English exam to be maybe somewhere in the morning of day one, and we can add that constraint. And we might want the Year 11 English exam to also be somewhere here. Then you might say we want an off constraint where students in Year 10 and 11 can't have an exam on day one in session 3. Now let's use those cool tag lists. I'm going to select an off constraint, and I'm going to select the tag list, and I'm going to select the Year 10 footy team is how I probably should have named that. Let's say it is after recess on day 3. I'm going to click off for day 3, session 2 and session 3. When I press add constraint, what happens down here is it goes and finds all of the classes that the football team do, or all of the exams that the football team do. And it says these exams can't be here. In the next version of the exam solver, we're going to allow you to score these. And so if this is an unrealistic constraint and it's going to constrain the timetable, the exam timetable too much, then it will bypass some of these constraints, but only the ones it needs to bypass. When you've finished entering your constraints, you can simply press download files. And what it will do when I allow it to download multiple files, it will actually download for me an enriched timetable file. And that timetable file is basically an exam timetable file now. Now, in this version, we don't have our solver hooked up to this yet. So that is not your solved exam timetable file. It's the one we need to use to run your exam solver. So what we need you to do is to send us that TFX and we will run this for you. Now, in a few weeks, when the exam timetable app is ready, the solver will be hooked up to it and you'll be able to run it in the browser yourself. So just a very quick reminder, if you are utilizing the save button throughout, you can simply import from your downloads as you need. This is handy if you want to rerun the solver and you get to this page and you realize that you accidentally forgot to add or remove a subject. So once again, if I import the subject settings, those subjects are automatically added here. The ticks are added. That'll do for now. Please reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, we look forward to receiving your enriched TFX files. We will run your exam timetable and we'll get back to you with results as quickly as we can. Please have a look at our next video, which covers exam timetable results.